Welcome back to Dinar Daily, your source for essential updates and analysis concerning the Iraqi dinar. I'm your host, and today we have news that fundamentally shifts the narrative surrounding this currency. If you've been following Iraq's economic recovery, whether you hold dinar or are simply interested in the complexities of emerging markets, what we are about to discuss marks a significant, verifiable change in Iraq's financial standing on the world stage. This isn't just the latest online chatter or speculative forecast. It's a documented development with concrete implications for the dinar's future. The headline that warrants your attention is this: Iraq has been officially removed from the exotic currency list. This is not a technicality. It is a major pivot point. For years, the Iraqi dinar carried the burden of this classification, a designation typically applied to currencies deemed high risk, illiquid, and difficult to manage in global trading environments. This label acted as a considerable barrier, effectively limiting its recognition and acceptance among major international banks and professional investors. For a long time, the exotic currency status functioned as a bright warning sign. It advised large financial institutions and cautious international investors to proceed with extreme reluctance, essentially fencing the dinar off from mainstream financial activity. This created a persistent question for many following the story: would the currency ever achieve genuine legitimacy and stability? The removal of this cautionary label is a clear, definitive answer to that question, signaling a profound shift in global perception. This change is far more than a symbolic gesture. It is genuinely transformative. The official delisting of the dinar indicates that the international financial community is increasingly recognizing Iraq's currency as stable, liquid, and ready for more widespread, legitimate trade. This improved standing carries substantial weight for everyone watching the dinar, from those tracking economic reforms to financial analysts assessing new opportunities in the Middle East. The previous classification as an exotic currency was not merely academic. It had tangible, real-world consequences. Currencies on this list are generally viewed with skepticism due to concerns over their stability and ease of trading, which naturally causes major financial players and international investors to hesitate. This caution effectively placed a metaphorical "do not touch" sticker on the dinar, severely limiting its exposure and adoption in broader international financial markets without extensive global recognition and acceptance. The dinar's use was largely confined to transactions within Iraq, small-scale currency traders, and niche collectors. However, the situation is now dramatically different. That significant warning label has been removed, a change driven by Iraq's ongoing efforts toward economic and financial reform, coupled with increasing stability and transparency within its central banking and financial systems. Consequently, the global financial view of the dinar is evolving. It is no longer uniformly seen as a high-risk or inherently exotic currency. Instead, it is gaining recognition as a currency that is stable, possesses increasing liquidity, and is ready for international trade. This crucial shift means the dinar can now realistically participate in more significant global financial operations than was previously possible under the restrictive exotic designation. This move inaugurates a new era, signaling the dinar's measured entry into the mainstream of the international financial world. With this enhanced global standing, the opportunities for the currency to be integrated into broader, legitimate trade and exchange mechanisms have grown significantly, opening doors that had been closed for years to the currency's holders and interested observers. The context of this removal highlights why observers and current holders are focusing intently on Iraq's actions. The official exit from the exotic currency list sends an unambiguous message from Baghdad to the world: we are prepared. Our currency is legitimate. Our economy is stabilizing. We are open for international business. This is a public declaration of readiness to fully participate in the global financial system. Transcending simple bureaucratic formalities, the exotic currency label previously acted as a strong deterrent, cautioning banks, financial institutions, and investors about perceived high risk and limited liquidity. That deterrent is now gone, replaced by an acknowledgement that the Iraqi dinar is becoming increasingly reliable, transparent, and capable of handling complex international transactions. A clear indication of financial maturation. Major institutional investors, including banks and hedge funds, closely monitor global currency classifications. Iraq's removal from the exotic list immediately elevates the country's standing in the eyes of these professional entities. It is a powerful signal of stability, which encourages greater financial confidence and opens the possibility for more substantial foreign investment to flow into the Iraqi economy. The long-term implications extend beyond institutional players. Over time, individuals, including retail investors and ordinary currency holders, will inevitably recognize the weight of this development. It signifies that the dinar is no longer marginalized but is actively being integrated into the global financial architecture, marking a potential final hurdle before full integration into international foreign exchange (forex) markets. It is a generally accepted observation. Central banks or governments do not remove a currency from the exotic list unless active preparations are underway for greater international trading. Once a currency achieves this level of global tradability, its actual market value and standing can be more fully realized, establishing a foundation for potential growth, increased liquidity, and worldwide recognition of its true worth. This fundamental transition from an exotic to a potentially tradable status is a significant milestone that fundamentally alters the framework for the dinar's operation. It establishes a structural groundwork required for any currency to function as a fully recognized entity in the global monetary system, moving beyond a niche status toward mainstream acceptance. A frequent question among those following the Iraqi dinar concerns the notes themselves, specifically the large denominations or zeros. Observers often ask what future changes, if any, will be made to the physical currency notes. This is a crucial point of focus, touching upon real financial outcomes and future valuation strategies as the dinar transitions into fully tradable status on international markets. A potential revaluation could theoretically involve two primary approaches regarding the zeros. One involves keeping the zeros intact while dramatically adjusting the official exchange rate. The alternative is redenomination, which would physically remove some or all of the zeros from the banknotes, simplifying calculations and aligning the notes with international trading norms, a process seen in other countries historically. While no entity outside the Iraqi government can offer guaranteed timelines or exact figures, any decision regarding the zeros will undoubtedly be carefully calculated. The primary objectives guiding this decision will be preserving economic stability, maintaining investor confidence, and ensuring a seamless integration of the dinar into major international forex markets, without arbitrary or sudden policy changes. Understanding the potential approaches to the zeros is not driven by idle curiosity. It is a matter of strategic preparation. Knowing how the government might approach revaluation helps market observers make informed assessments, maintain organizational clarity regarding their holdings, and position themselves to comprehend the currency's eventual place in the global financial system. One widely discussed scenario is a full revaluation where the existing notes remain unchanged, but the exchange rate is sharply adjusted to reflect a more robust true market value. This approach would have a substantial impact on the currency's purchasing power, allowing a single note to represent a significantly greater value in real-world terms. This scenario stands in contrast to a complete redenomination, often referred to as a delete the zeros policy, where the physical notes are replaced or reduced in face value. While redenomination is a policy option sometimes discussed, the current focus for many observers is the scenario that maximizes the dinar's value without necessitating a change or loss of value in the current physical banknotes. The scenario of a full revaluation, without physically removing the zeros, is viewed by many as the ultimate strategic outcome. It avoids the confusion and disruption of introducing new physical notes, prevents any perceived loss of existing asset value, and instantly grants a significant increase in purchasing power, representing a simultaneous benefit to both domestic and international holders beyond the individual holder. A revaluation without removing the zeros would instantly inject mass wealth into the Iraqi economy. Citizens would see the value of their savings and earnings increase exponentially, which would foster the growth of the middle class and significantly stimulate domestic spending, creating a positive climate for business and attracting new international investment. This approach is also strategically sound on a diplomatic level. It implicitly rewards international individuals who have supported Iraq's financial recovery over many years. By maintaining the current note structure, Iraq signals confidence in its currency's stability and an appreciation for the commitment shown by both its citizens and early international believers. The removal of Iraq from the exotic currency list significantly increases the focus on an official exchange rate adjustment. For years, Iraq's currency system has relied on a tightly managed peg, with the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, intervening to defend a specific rate against the US dollar. While this prevented volatility, it also created market distortions and encouraged parallel markets. With the dinar's new global recognition, the CBI has a clear path to shift toward a more market-oriented exchange rate policy. This could involve a gradual, managed adjustment to better reflect the dinar's real purchasing power or the introduction of controlled floating mechanisms that allow the market greater influence on the rate, with occasional central bank interventions to maintain stability. These adjustments are often considered essential first steps toward monetary policy normalization, helping to improve trade competitiveness and manage inflationary pressures that can result from a potentially overvalued currency. A more predictable, transparent currency regime also builds confidence among international investors, encouraging foreign direct investment in non-oil sectors and strengthening Iraq's position in global trade. The next critical steps will likely involve coordinated actions and formal announcements from both the Central Bank of Iraq and international organizations like the IMF. The CBI has focused for years on building credibility and improving transparency, which are necessary preconditions for major structural reforms in the foreign exchange market. Any official statement from the CBI regarding policy, intervention limits, or exchange rate reforms will carry significant weight and will likely trigger noticeable market adjustments and investor responses. Simultaneously, validation or technical guidance from the IMF would lend substantial legitimacy to Iraq's plans, confirming to the global community that the country is adhering to international standards for macroeconomic management. Historically, countries recovering from conflict or economic instability have relied on multilateral organizations to signal the credibility and enforceability of their reforms. This dual approach, domestic action supported by international validation, creates a predictable environment, signaling that Iraq is moving from ad hoc policy measures to a comprehensive, structured strategy for sustained economic growth and currency normalization. The implications of this shift extend beyond immediate currency adjustments. By moving off the exotic list and signaling its readiness for the next phase of economic development, Iraq is communicating its intent to reclaim its historical role as a significant economic player in the Middle East. This prepares the ground for increased foreign investment, new trade partnerships, and potentially better access to international credit for the average Iraqi citizen. This could eventually lead to greater stability in prices, improved access to international goods and services, and increased employment opportunities as foreign businesses enter the market. For policymakers, it provides crucial leverage to implement broader fiscal reforms, improve the efficiency of government spending, and successfully diversify the national economy away from an over-reliance on oil revenues. While substantial challenges remain, including regional security dynamics and political considerations, the current symbolic and practical steps mark a clear turning point. Iraq is no longer just focused on recovery. It is actively shaping the next, proactive stage of its economic journey, with the global financial community closely observing the tangible actions that will define this new phase for long-term observers. The observable moves Iraq is making on the global financial stage represent measurable, documented actions that indicate a clear trajectory toward meaningful economic reform. For those who have followed the story with patience and conviction despite widespread skepticism, these recent developments provide strong validation for their continued focus. Long-term engagement, particularly in markets or currencies emerging from instability, demands foresight, and the current signals from Baghdad, the removal from the exotic list, discussions of potential exchange rate adjustments, and steps toward a market-driven currency validate the attention paid to this developing situation. This is no longer merely speculation based on hope. It is concrete, structured progress recognized by international financial institutions. What we are witnessing is Iraq actively signaling its readiness for the next phase: currency normalization, deeper investor integration, and strategic reforms. For all observers who have remained committed during periods of significant uncertainty, this is the moment where patience appears to be aligning with concrete opportunities for change. The path forward is becoming clearer, with each institutional action confirming that the groundwork for a potential revaluation is being methodically laid. This process makes it crucial to remain informed, to actively monitor official announcements, and to recognize that what once seemed highly improbable is now visibly unfolding. While no specific outcome is guaranteed, the indicators point toward a credible path for significant currency appreciation, possibly within a framework that retains the existing denomination structure while improving liquidity and global market confidence. Asterisk. The developments reflect a global acknowledgement that Iraq is ready for broader economic participation. This signals to both domestic and international investors that financial risks are being actively managed and that the currency is steadily progressing toward legitimacy and long-term stability. The process represents a significant turning point in the dinar's long and complex history. This moment emphasizes the crucial importance of staying connected, alert, and thoroughly informed as events continue to unfold. We are entering a period where verified updates from the Central Bank of Iraq, statements from the IMF, and shifts in the market will carry immediate, significant implications. Engaging with fellow observers, sharing verified information, and critically analyzing reports are essential for anyone tracking the dinar's trajectory. By discussing developments openly and critically evaluating the progress being made, the community of dinar observers can maintain accurate perspective, avoid misinformation, and effectively identify opportunities that might be overlooked by others. It is no longer enough to be passively patient. Strategic awareness and informed vigilance are equally critical in this rapidly evolving environment. Every documented move at the highest financial level reinforces the understanding that this is structured, verifiable progress unfolding in real time, not wishful thinking. The consistency of these actions demonstrates a serious intent from the Iraqi government and its financial institutions to achieve a significant, lasting reform. Long-term observers possess a unique advantage. They have historical context, having witnessed past volatility, and are now positioned to interpret these new developments with experience and a clearer foresight. Maintaining engagement with credible information channels ensures that one is ready to process or simply appreciate the significance of this breakthrough as it materializes. The next few updates promise to be historic, potentially marking a definitive turning point in Iraq's financial journey. For those who have been watching patiently, this is the moment where years of preparation and observation are meeting a developing opportunity. Staying informed ensures you remain ahead of the curve and can fully engage with each development as it happens. Most importantly, this is a time to maintain informed vigilance. Market-moving announcements, policy adjustments, or official CBI statements could arrive at any moment, and a grounded understanding of the full context ensures they are interpreted accurately. The breakthrough that has long been anticipated is now tangible. unfolding step by measured step by maintaining patience, always verifying sources, and keenly observing the macroeconomic landscape. Long-term observers are not only witnessing history, but are also positioned to fully understand the financial implications. The progress is real, and with each verified update, confidence grows that the long-held belief in Iraq's financial recovery and stability was strategically well-founded. This marks a period of cautious optimism, informed vigilance, and shared engagement as the next pivotal phase of Iraq's economic journey takes its definitive shape on the global stage.